Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students, scholars, teachers, trainers, professors, professionals, officials,
Music. Bluetooth mode.
I welcome all respected doctors and directors. I welcome all honorable ministers, managers. I welcome all honorable advocates, advertiser, administrative advisors. I welcome the most honorable present Minister Modi. Really nice time, nice place, nice section that we are describing, explaining, expressing our holy Indian spiritual, cultural, social identities in the form of unity and diversity. US-Iran signed initial deal to end war, ease sanctions, open straight. Trump warns of
Welcome to rock music.
renewed attacks
Bluetooth mode.
if deal breached. The US and Iran released the text of an interim agreement their presidents have signed to end their war on Wednesday, with US President Donald Trump threatening to resume attacks and kill Iranian officials if they fail to honor their commitments. Trump attending the G7. The other leaders in France also withdrew at least one of his stated rationales for attacking Iran in the first place, saying it would be unfair for Tehran not to have ballistic missiles, having previously vowed to obliterate them. We are going to bomb the hell out of them if they
Welcome to
violate
rock
the
music.
agreement.
Bluetooth mode.
Trump said of Iran at a press conference,
Welcome to rock music.
I don't want them to. I want them to honor the agreement. He also called Iranians smart people.
Welcome to rock music. Bluetooth mode.
As US and Iranian negotiators work on a permanent truce over the coming 60 days, which Trump said he hoped would usher in peace in the Middle East and lower oil prices. Earlier he had said, if I don't like it, if they don't behave, we will go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head. Okay. Iranian leaders did not address the new threats while celebrating the moment, releasing photographs of what is believed to be the first agreement signed by both US and Iranian presidents since the Islamic Republic founding in 1979. Everything we sought to achieve through military action, we obtained several times over. So negotiation it was not even comparable. Iran's lead negotiator Mohammad said, योगी दूध का दूध पानी का पानी सामने आ जाएगा योगी से। योग दिवस से पहले देश भर में जोरदार तैयारियां जारी। शिवसेना के स्थापना दिवस पर आमने सामने आए उद्धव और ठाकरे। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी फ्रांस और स्लोवाकिया की सफल यात्रा के बाद स्वदेश लौटे। G7 शिखर सम्मेलन में भारत की सक्रिय भूमिका। योग दिवस से पहले देश भर में जोरदार तैयारियां जारी। भारत इनोवेट्स नवाचार पर जोर। डीप टेक विज्ञान और नवाचार से जुड़े 13 मुख्य क्षेत्र शामिल। एडवांस्ड कंप्यूटिंग, सेमीकंडक्टर, स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी, बायोटेक, ऊर्जा, स्वास्थ्य, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जैसे क्षेत्र। भारत इनोवेट्स नवाचार पर जोर। स्टार्टअप्स को वैश्विक अवसर प्रदान करना उद्देश्य है। मोदी बैट्स फॉर डेमोक्रेटाइजेशन ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी। From Paris, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday made a strong pitch for democratization of technology, asserting that AI means all-inclusive for India. Days after the US imposed curbs on access to certain artificial intelligence models, addressing technology from Viva Tech 2026 in Paris, Modi highlighted India's technological prowess and said half of the global digital transactions are happening in the country. When it comes to technology along with innovation, what matters is access. Technology can lead to progress only when it is democratized. India believes that in this era of disruption, technology must deliver for all, the PM said. Al Qaeda operative gets 31 years in Pak jail. Indian teen dies in forced carriage accident in NY. Sailor killed in Gulf tanker attack, cremated. Six Sena UPT MPs skip meet signal shift to Shinde camp to party. Party to pursue disqualification from New Delhi. Six of the nine Lok Sabha MPs of the Shiv Sena UPT on Thursday skipped a crucial parliamentary party meeting here, indicating a formal crossover to the Shiv Sena led by Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. Visibly upset, Sanjay Raut, the lone Rajya Sabha MP of the Shiv Sena, launched a tirade against the absentees and showed threats and expletives on them. Tax mop-up increases 15% to 151 to 21 lakh crore rupees. From New Delhi, first IAS officer arrested in Haryana civic fund scam from Chandigarh. CBI Thursday arrested former Panchkula Municipal Corporation Commissioner Ramkumar Singh in the Haryana government fund misappropriation case, making him the first IAS officer to be arrested in this scam. Singh's arrest has intensified the probe into the alleged siphoning of public funds from the corporation's account maintained at Chandigarh Sector 32 branch of IDFC First Bank. Government approves 8.25% EPF rate for final year 26 from New Delhi. Actor used features don't match. CM Maan cites two new forensic reports. Says 2 second labs examined viewed opponents' scopes from Chandigarh. The governing app on Thursday claimed that reports from two independent laboratories outside Punjab have established that the man seen in an alleged sacrilege video was not Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann and demanded a probe into an alleged conspiracy to defame him. The move comes 3 days after the Khartoum declared Mandu Dokhi anti-Guru and Pant Virud anti-Pant, while claiming that reports from two government-approved forensic laboratories had verified the video as genuine and not AI generated. Jharkhand RS election in-depth backed by NDA wins amid cross-voting. Ranchi. Amid cross-voting, NDA supported independent candidate on Thursday, won one of the two Rajya Sabha seats in Jharkhand, defeating the Congress's Pranav. 1K Gujral's son duped of 7.8 crore rupees in cyber scam. Former RS MP Naresh Gujral was allegedly duped of rupees 7.8 crore after cyber fraudsters impersonalized him on a managing app and tricked his company's CFO into transferring funds to multiple bank accounts. 150 million users' rights curtailed. High Court questions Telegram ban from New Delhi. SUV falls into gorge in SUV falls into gorge in Chamba, 7 dead from Kulu. One in four government hospital patients not satisfied with medicine available. Survey says from Chandigarh, while medicine availability received comparatively low ratings, patients reported high satisfaction with other aspects of healthcare delivery. Five traffickers held after brief encounter found Roper. 3 months after 25,000 crore fine on BDPO, information panel seeks status. From Patiala, complainant Gurpreet Singh told the commission that despite the penalty, neither a reply nor the information sought had been supplied. Ahead of Naveen's visit, Dhillon and Chugh hold outreach in Amritsar from Amritsar. Nearly 100 years on, Centre revives Kudian Bias Rail Line project. Chuttu says estimated cost put at 1.4 thousand crore rupees from Mohali. Foreign arms seized by Arsenal Corps 8 held from Amritsar. ChatGPT shares lives globally number one in India. ChatGPT's grip on the fast-growing AI assistant market has weakened for the first time with its global market share slipping below 50% as competition from rivals such as Google's Gemini and Anthropic's Cloud intensifies, according to a report by Sensor Tower. Underwash Fed gives up on rate cut this year from Washington. RBI eases interest rate caps on NRI deposits from Mumbai. India moves into top 15 markets for Mercedes. From Mumbai, interest in technologies like autonomous driving, large screens, and infotainment is growing, especially in markets like China and India, where customers are younger. We factor this into product development. Canada's CPP investments to pump 7,000 crore rupees into San Hyderabad. Trade deal with the UK is set to kick in from July 15 from New Delhi. The India-UK Free Trade Agreement and Social Security deal are set to be operationalized from July 15 after talks between PM Narendra Modi and his counterpart Keir Starmer. In Avian Wednesday, we have got an even solution that balances the interest of our stakeholders on the issue of steel. This agreement will significantly boost our bilateral trade and investment. Both PM Starmer and I, who are in Avian for the G7 summit, are naturally very happy with the significant momentum being added to our economic ties. Pradhan Modi said, with sixth year of double-digit growth, BMW is number one support from Chennai. Post-deal insurers want car cover pool to stay gradual recovery. Market participants said any return to normalcy in marine world risk insurance will be gradual. Capacity, pricing, and underwriting discipline are expected to stabilize only over time from Mumbai. Investors become richer by 25.27 lakh crore rupees in 5 days from Delhi. Keki Mystery gets 3 months extension as HDFC Bank chairman. Mystery, a veteran of the HDFC Bank Group, was appointed as the interim. India set to push global steel demand, says Lakshmi Mittal. Underscorers need to maintain competitive and resilient industry from New Delhi. India is set to become a key engine of global steel demand over the coming decades, driven by large-scale infrastructure development, urbanization, and investment linked to the energy transition. Speaking ahead of ArcelorMittal's 20th anniversary on July 21, Mittal said the global steel industry was entering a new phase in which India is expected to play a role similar to that played by China over the past decades. The World Cup and Brotherhood of the Ball. The World Cup is a shimmering paradoxical beast. Following the tournament is not unlike seeing Earth from space as a pale blue dot. I expect here it's in the form of a glorious football, and yet it's a palpable celebration of one of the most powerful human inventions country. 48 of these club countries in the latest edition, ranging from tiny island nations of Cape Verde and Curacao to ones you don't have to Google search like Iran and US, take physical form in this giant rite of human cosplaying nations. Along with the beautiful game, you experience the thrill of what you experienced as a kid when you had collect stamps from exotic entries. Each team on the pitch and the hordes cheering them from the stands and in front of screens become a manifestation of their country, all contesting jigsaw places in a planet-sized puzzle. Not too long ago, we were all under the happy, exciting thrill of globalization, a capitalism infused Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Some 20 years ago, Thomas Friedman articulated what we felt. The world is flat. level playing field where countries, organizations, individuals competed against each other in a global field, keeping scores. Today we live in an even more globalized world of the internet, streaming entertainment, instant communication, social media, global supply chains that go beyond products and services, and yet today push back to globe isolation. Globalization has never been stronger. The notion of nation being solidified by protectionism and xenophobia is not only being tolerated but embraced. Which is why, in the face of such growing anti globalization evident in anti immigrant sentiment, Great Walls of Tariffs identifies identities based on threat perceptions from anything and anyone, not in one's own image. The World Cup is such a powerful anomaly. Its genius doesn't lie in dismissing the astounding variety that nations contain, but in celebrating it through footballing josts. And the World Cup is a beautiful paradox, football playing, nations competing against each other for sporting glory only to drive home the point that the world is one singular playground. When spectators roared with delight at Messi's third goal against Algeria on Thursday, or were in sheer awe of Cape Verde goalkeeper Wojina single-handedly with two gloved hands holding back tournament favorites Spain from reaching the post on Monday, or revealed in Japan's scandal-style performance against legacy side Netherlands the same day. Their countrymen and women felt the full force of belonging that the socially constructed nation can provide. But at the same time, everyone watching the World Cup, regardless of which nation club they belong to, or even if their country isn't playing, are mystically swayed by a specter of transnational comradeship that is in scarce supply. Outside the football fields, where goalposts are being constantly changed, the bonhomie among players from different countries, the mutual respect, the sheer joy of finding kindred spirits, no matter the color of jersey, or relations between governments provide a profound contrast to the fragmented, fractured, and fenced off world that lies outside. After Germany's 7-1 trouncing of Minvo's Curacao last Sunday, we witnessed a strange gathering joining a post-match prayer circle of Curacao players on the pitch where German midfielder Felix borrowed Britain. Everything in the country has been taken from somewhere else. How to tell your spouse they are doing intimacy wrong? Lack of desire isn't the real crisis in modern marriage. It's the inability to talk about desires, but there are quite ways to ask for what makes you feel good and point out which touch leaves you feeling too lonely. Before he wrote his Booker nominated Animals People, my friend Indra Sinha penned a smart translation of Kam Sutra where his great corrective was that it was not merely a manual of ecstasy as Sir Richard Burton might have you believe, but a text about how to live with other people, a spouse, a bossy cook, and most heroically, even a mother-in-law. Today, one of our unsaid things is not that married people fail to have sex or have it badly. Rather, it is how two people spend years in the same bed without finding the sentence that could save them from becoming strangers to each other. Kam Sutra knew this. So, a generation of Indians long before us had an erotic language or codes of intimacy far from sophisticated than we know today. mostly from self-help manuals and reels. Kamsutra help to subtext all the awkward, beautiful things that compose life. Its many topics include how to end a quarrel or exit an affair without tamasha. But Victorian morality under British rule, later absorbed by Indian reform movements and post-independent nationalisms, created a genuine eraser, a civilization that once carved lovers onto temple walls spent decades blurring kisses out of film. Silence arrived at the party, dressed up as good old fashioned decency, but silence it turns out is hardly neutral. A friend recently told me her husband was loving and literate, devoted to their marriage but also a sexual failure. She had married one of the most decent men in all of North India, a rare and diminishing Jean Paul, only to discover that his libido was not lacking but expressed as a series of erotic misjudgments. Briefly, as she spoke, I wondered when our friendship had devolved into an episode of Sex and the City, but rescue came when she began to cry. In her sobbing, I heard neither anger nor frustration, but sincere, profound sorrow. How, after all, can you leave someone because they are sexually incompetent? And equally, how do you stay? I wish there was a school, he said, where sexual skills might be certifiable prior to marriage. John of the case spent several novels, couples chief among them, examining this. A community of Massachusetts marriages where sexual restlessness is the symptom and the disease is an inability to say in plain words, this isn't working and I don't know how to tell you. Would-be-case couples solve the issue by having affairs instead of conversations. The New York solution is generally too much talk or sudden flight. 118 celebrated like number one. Read the global university ranking in Toto. India is talking forward while others are sprinting. Sometimes in India we celebrate without much sense of caution, cheering an IIT from getting ranked 118 in the QS World University Rankings 2027, and some other Indian universities also moving up. Definitely has frog in the well field. It's like saying chalo pass ho gaya for a middling exam performance in the most cutthroat jobs era in history. For the individual child, this we agree is 100% the right attitude. Gently encouraging, not putting too much pressure, but national higher education warrants a completely different kind of accountability. Tough analytical benchmark to the best, and there what's unmissable is that University of Hong Kong is ranked 11 and Peking University 13. Big pictures, the same across different rankings. Yes, India's representation is rising and China's universities have pushed into the global elite. Indeed, Western universities are growing worried about how they are becoming less attractive to Chinese students and the billions they bring. Nor is China the only uncomfortable comparison. Per US data released in March, Singapore has two universities in the top 10 for engineering and tech. University rankings serve as a rough proxy for a country's ability to generate new knowledge. China's share in Nature's Index, which tracks high quality academic journals, is now more than USA's and 21 times India's. If we consider the AI research landscape in particular, yes, India's contributions have risen substantially, but China's have made a dramatic ascent, expanding in global share from under 5% in 2000 to a completely dominant 36% by 2025. Chinese universities have leapfrogged on the back of governance structures that enable liberal international hires, quick research initiative launches, building capacities at speed simultaneously. Its private sectors created enormous demand for advanced research, pulling universities into a virtuous cycle of innovation and investment. Sure, India's also made progress, but people don't usually catch up with the competition by congratulating themselves. They do it by becoming more ambitious, more demanding, more willing to learn from those who have raced ahead, working harder, smarter. Tehran dividend. Once Iran out of US's bad books, India shouldn't waste opportunities to invest in and trade with it. People look for omens in hard times. That US and Iran signed their MOU for peace 2 days early. Wednesday rather than Friday seems like one. Does it mean peace is inevitable? One hopes so. But with Trump saying we are going to bomb the hell out of them if they violate the agreement, bets may prove premature. Besides, Trump's warning defies the MOU's first point to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other. There are other triggers. Israel's strikes on Lebanon, for example, that could derail a deal, but for the moment, at least peace has a chance, and India should plan ahead opportunities in a rehabilitated Iran. Despite decades of sanctions, Iran is not poor. Its per capita GDP in 2024 was roughly double India. It's also large and populous and has ancient cultural ties with us. Yet even before the war, our exchange with it had dwindled. Our main export rice was down to $698 million from $1.2 billion in 2018. As for our imports, we had completely stopped buying oil and gas from Iran in 2019 under threat of US sanctions, but before that, Iran used to be among our top three energy suppliers. Now that the MOU promises to lift sanctions on Iranian oil and gas, we should resume imports. There is a cost advantage in this, as Iran is our closest Gulf neighbor. But there is also a strategic benefit. If Hormuz is ever closed again, Iranian energy can continue flowing to India via the southeastern port of Chabahar. India proposed to develop Chabahar in 2003 as its gateway to Iraq, Afghanistan, Central Asia, and Russia. Bypassing Pakistan, that has been stymied for various reasons. We should see the project through this time and aim to be part of the $300 billion reconstruction and development plan for Iran mentioned in the MOU. Beyond that, Iran's underfunded hydrocarbon sector is an opportunity. We need oil and gas. Iran has the third and second largest reserves, respectively. What it lacks is infra to extract them. Saudi can produce 12 million barrels of oil per day. Iran capacity is just 3.7 million BPD. Indian PSUs had discovered its Farzad B gas field in 2008 and were expected to develop it, but that opportunity slipped away. Now India must pursue its interest with greater determination, but only after the US-Iran deal is done and dusted, hopefully by August. What US-Iran deal taught the world? Only powerful actors can stop conflicts. Good-hearted, neutral mediators are pass. Peace comes when an involved party has the capacity to pressure, persuade, reassure, and set the terms of engagement. Ahead of Washington Tehran talks expected later today at Bergenstock mountain top resort in Switzerland, and looking back at the run-up to the US-Iran ceasefire signed Wednesday, what's evident is that mediators in modern crises do not arrive with olive branches. They arrive with secure lines, intelligence contacts, military links, and discreet venue, and enough influence to get adversaries talking without either side feeling trapped. The US-Iran memorandum captured the shift. It is not a grand settlement but a tentative understanding opening a 60-day negotiation window, shaped through multiple channels and crowded with unresolved questions. What happens to Iran's highly enriched uranium? The issue presented as central to the world. How much of Iran's frozen assets will be released? What if forces outside the understanding break the ceasefire? This framework is one strand of a wider crisis linking nuclear talks, sanctions, Gulf shipping, and Lebanon's contested truce. Crisis diplomacy often begins not with agreement but with a fragile draft, a usual channel, and enough ambiguity for adversaries to step back. In such settings, the intermediary that matters most is rarely the one that appears most neutral. The older mediator drew authority from a distance. Today's intermediary earns relevance by doing what others cannot. It may reach the parties, protect a back channel, applying apply pressure, offer reassurance, provide a venue, or keep a fragile deal alive. Mediation is no longer one task performed by one neutral actor. It is divided among channels, hosts, facilitators, and guarantors. International organizations remain, but their authority has waned. The age when figures like Alberodoi could combine technical credibility with institutional weight feels distant now. Pakistan's role in the US-Iran understanding is instructive. It shows both the limits and uses of today's mediation. Islamabad did not deliver the agreement but kept the line open when formal diplomacy was constrained. Keeping a channel open is not the same, and keeping a channel open is not the same as engineering an agreement. Pakistan is no neutral Switzerland. Islamabad's choices are shaped by Gulf dependence, Chinese backing, and its border with Iran. Those very ties made it useful in keeping contact alive. It hosted quietly, passed messages, and drew on security links beyond formal diplomacy that did not make Islamabad a grand peacemaker. It made Pakistan useful in diplomacy early work. Not all intermediaries do the same job. One country may provide the room, another may keep contact alive, a third may narrow differences, and a fourth may help sustain what has been agreed. Sometimes the task is simply damage control in West Asia. Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan have performed parts of this chain. The old image of the one neutral mediator doing everything now feels closer to folklore than to practice. China walks this Tehran terrain from just outside the room. Beijing often prefers to shape negotiations rather than on the process in the West Asia crisis. Beijing's ties with Tehran gave Islamabad's channel added weight. Pakistan kept the channel open. China gave it last. US is the awkward case for anyone still attached to neutral mediation in Gaza, Lebanon, and Ukraine. Washington has not mediated from above the conflict but from inside it, using resources, security commitments, and bargaining weight others lack. Washington has been central to ceasefire, and border diplomacy between Israel and Lebanon, even as the situation remains fragile and contested. In Gaza, its role has stressed beyond ceasefire mechanics into the architecture of what follows from disarmament and humanitarian access to reconstruction and governance. In Ukraine, Washington's role as security backer makes it part of the negotiation, not an observer of it. In modern crisis diplomacy, leverage can matter more than detachment. This is not neutral facilitation, it is power mediation, agenda setting backed by the ability to pressure and reassure. Turkey's value lie in a different kinds of proximity. Ankara matters because it sits inside the theater, across routes and rival campuses, not because it floats above the free access trade, military relevance, and cultivated ambiguities. They have all become forms of diplomatic capital. The Black Sea Grain Initiative showed this at scale. Istanbul turned geography, UN-backed inspections and wartime logistics into a working diplomatic arrangements. What remains of the old European model, the Norway-style mediator, once treated as a neutral facilitator, still matter in quiet channel and implementation. Words move fast, the residents want leverage, not just virtue in the room. Neutral facilitation has not vanished, it survives as a specialized role rather than as the main model of crisis diplomacy. Where does India fit in this new diplomacy? It brings broad relationships across West Asia, strategic autonomy, operational competence, and a tested record in evacuation and humanitarian coordination. These strengths do not make India the universal mediator or the neutral intermediary in every crisis. They do give it a credible role in keeping channels open, supporting re-escalation, and acting as a stabilizing presence across divides. In crisis diplomacy, there is a serious, if I limited, form of influence. Mediation has become less about innocence and more about capability. The question is no longer who is neutral enough to stand in the middle, it is who has access, who can protect a back channel, who can apply pressure without closing the door, who can reassure without taking ownership, and who can help adversaries retreat without making it look like surrender. The mediators who matter will not always look disinterested. More often, they will be states they will be states with interests, leverage and a spare key to the room that may offend the old etiquette of diplomacy. It is how diplomacy now gets done.
Welcome to rock music. Bluetooth mode.
Monday credits longevity to fitness.
Welcome to rock music.
Heroes to
Bluetooth
clash with
mode.
Pathires from Doha. Kohli
Welcome to
likely
rock
to be fit
music.
for England
Bluetooth
ODIs
mode.
from Mumbai. Virat credits domestic cricket for Rise
Welcome
from
to rock
Lucknow.
music.
Shefali
Bluetooth
converts
mode.
promise into performance. Ronaldo hits to spark as Portugal held by Congo.
Welcome to rock
Colombia wrong
music.
past
Bluetooth mode.
Bigotens, Uzbekistan Mexico City. All majors are tough, but US Open is the ultimate test.
Welcome to rock music.
Bruce Brazil
Bluetooth
Singh
mode.
Hattie Cats double as England draw. Rahul makes India blow. Speech public allies ask why not
Welcome to
ours.
rock
But in
music.
Delhi,
Bluetooth mode.
preteens drown while filming video in river.
Welcome to rock music. Bluetooth mode.
Indo dropped its just Pacific command now, renaming laden with symbolism from Washington. Karnataka, MP, and Tamil Nadu top dole givers says CAG Park. The day Lohia defied Portuguese and set Goa on road to liberation. 80 years ago, on June 18, 1946, socialist stalwart Ram Manohar Lohia ignited the movement that led to Goa's freedom on December 1961. TUI looks back at Revolution Day, a turning point in Goa's history. The evening of June 10, 1946 was like any other in the quiet village of Asolna in South Goa's Sun City. It was business as usual for the Portuguese colonial administration, enforcing its laws against public assembly and free speech with colonial impunity, but little did it know that nothing ever would be quite the same again in Goa, thanks to the man about to step out of vehicle at the home of one. It was Ram Manohar Lohia, the socialist leader who had just arrived fresh from incarceration in Lahore prison after his arrest in Mumbai, then Bombay in 1944. The fatigue of his imprisonment had done nothing to blunt either his instincts or his intent. Ramanar Lohia in Goa says, even if we cannot at once attain our freedom, we must at least think and speak of freedom and build up the strength of an organization to strive for it. Our hope is the strength of the people which is ever pulling up and which will create the state no matter what trials we may yet have to face. A teenager in the crowd, a witness to history. At 94, the fate he still remembers June 18, 1946.